Replacing your old kitchen faucet is a quick, easy way to enhance the style of your kitchen without spending a fortune. Stick around, and in the next few minutes, we'll show you how to do it yourself. Before you get started, you'll need some basic tools and supplies. First, you'll need to pick out a new faucet. Kitchen faucets are available in a variety of different styles and finishes. To enhance the overall look of your kitchen, select a faucet that goes well with your sink, appliances, and cabinet hardware. When choosing your faucet, you'll need to know how many holes you have in your sink. For simplicity, you'll want the new faucet to take up the same number of holes as the old one. If you buy a model with a pull-out sprayer and you have a separate sprayer attached to your old faucet, you'll want to get a hole cover to conceal the sprayer hole in the sink. We'll be working in a house that has copper water supply lines, as many houses do. Other items we're going to need include some penetrating oil to help loosen up any corroded connections on the old faucet, along with a few old towels, a rag, a bucket, an adjustable wrench, a basin wrench, some Teflon tape, a pair of scissors, and a good build-up removing sink cleaning product. New supply hoses are also a good idea. These hoses operate under pressure and can weaken over time, so it's best to replace them after years of use, just to be safe. Supply hoses with steel sleeves will provide the best protection against bursting. You'll also want a helper to assist you when you're ready to attach the new faucet to the sink. The first step in the project is to take everything out of the under-sink cabinet so that you'll have space to work under there. Then shut off the water supply by turning the hot and cold shutoff valves under the sink. Once you've done that, turn on the faucet to drain as much water as possible from the lines. If you have separate hot and cold water taps, turn on both of them. Usually, the most challenging part of a faucet replacement project is accessing all the nuts and fittings you need to get to. You'll be crawling under the sink, and that's not a comfortable place to be, so you may want to use a few old towels to provide some cushioning. If you have a garbage disposal or a P-trap blocking your access to the area underneath the sink, and you can't squeeze around them, you'll need to temporarily disconnect them. If you have a hardwired garbage disposal, be sure to turn off the power and verify that it's off before you touch any wires. If there's any chance you won't remember how everything goes together when you need to reconnect it, take a few pictures with your cell phone or a digital camera before you start dismantling anything. To remove the old faucet, begin by using an adjustable wrench to loosen the nuts that connect the supply tubes to the supply valves. Sometimes the connections may be corroded. If the nuts don't come off easily, don't try to force them. Just apply some penetrating oil. Penetrating oil is a low viscosity oil that's thin enough to seep into tight spaces. Just put a small amount around each nut, holding a rag underneath to catch any drips. Wait a couple of minutes to allow the oil to seep in between the threads, and then the nuts should come off pretty easily. Have a bucket and another old towel handy to catch any water that leaks out as you loosen the connections. Even though you've shut off the water supply and drained out as much water as possible beforehand, there still may be some water left in the lines. If you're replacing an old sprayer assembly, the next step is to disconnect the hose that attaches the sprayer to the faucet. The way you do this will depend on how it's hooked up. Next, remove the mounting nuts underneath the faucet. A basin wrench like this one is great for this part of the job because it's specifically designed to reach up into that tight area underneath the faucet. With the mounting nuts off, you can now lift the old faucet out of the sink. The next thing you'll want to do is thoroughly clean the faucet and sprayer attachment areas of the sink to remove any hard water deposits, corrosion, or old putty remnants. Now, you're ready to install the new faucet. Insert the faucet shanks through the base gasket and attach the new supply tubes to the faucet. To help prevent leaks, wrap the threads with a few layers of Teflon tape before you screw on the supply tubes. Use a length of tape that will go around the threads about 3 times. Make sure the connections are good and tight, but don't use excessive force. Then insert the supply tubes through the holes in the sink. Put the faucet in position and screw on the mounting nuts. You'll want to have someone help you with this part of the job because it'll be much easier to have someone standing over the sink to hold the faucet in proper alignment. Tighten the mounting nuts, but don't over-tighten them. Next, attach the supply lines to the supply valves. Apply some Teflon tape to the threads on the valves and screw on the nuts. If your new faucet has a sprayer to attach, now is the time to connect the sprayer hose. The way you'll do this will depend on the faucet. Ours came with a plastic connector that links the end of the sprayer hose to the underside of the faucet. If you had to disconnect a garbage disposal, P-trap, or anything else underneath the sink to access the faucet, now is the time to reconnect those items. Remove the aerator, turn on the faucet, both the hot and cold handles if you have a two-handled faucet, then turn on the water supply. Let the water run for a couple minutes to flush out any debris, and check carefully at the faucet and under the sink to make sure there's nothing leaking. Then shut off the faucet, replace the aerator, wipe off the fingerprints, and you're good to go. As you can see, replacing a faucet isn't all that difficult, and it can make all the difference in the style of your kitchen. If you're looking for a new faucet or project supplies, just ask one of our employees. We'll be happy to help.